Right now, as you watch this video on Quantum Aligned, you are experiencing something that, in its purest form, doesn't exist, at least not as you usually believe it does. The vibrant red of an apple, the deep blue of the sky beyond your window, the warm golden glow of your lamp, none of these colors truly exist outside your mind. They are wondrous creations, translations formed entirely within the intricate design of your brain. In the objective universe, as the laws of physics describe it, there is no red, no blue, no color at all, only vibrations of electromagnetic energy traveling through space, invisible and intangible. These energies, orchestrated by divine law, are transformed by your nervous system into the rich, luminous world you call reality. But here's what should awaken a deeper awareness tonight. If something as fundamental as color is a creation of your mind, shaped by God's subtle orchestration through your perception, then what else might be? What about the solid objects surrounding you? What about the space that seems to separate them? What about the very sensation of being yourself, seated in this moment, observing these words unfold on your screen? Are we witnessing the universe directly, seeing reality as it truly exists? Or are we immersed within a meticulously crafted story, written moment by the most exquisite storyteller you've ever encountered? Your own mind, guided by divine intelligence? This isn't mere philosophy. It's not speculation. This is the remarkable insight emerging from the forefront of neuroscience and consciousness research. Scientists are discovering that your brain doesn't passively absorb the world around you. Instead, it actively constructs it, painting reality from the inside out with a palette of memories, predictions, and hidden assumptions you've never consciously questioned. The implications are profound. If your perception is not a faithful recording but a living creation, then the very nature of your experience, everything you've seen, heard, felt, or believed about the world, might be entirely different from what you think. Today, on Quantum Aligned, we will explore the hidden architecture of your consciousness. The secret machinery that builds your reality moment by moment is not random. It reflects a deeper order in the universe, a divine intelligence woven into every sensation. This journey is grounded in cutting-edge science and profound understanding, designed not to provide easy answers, but to offer a new lens through which to view the most intimate mystery of all, your own experience. What we uncover together may transform how you see the world and how you see yourself. If you are drawn to the greatest mysteries that reside within, consider subscribing. Let's begin by finding the first subtle gap in perception. Right now, there's a small hole in your vision, a blank space where you perceive nothing. And your brain has concealed it from you your entire life. Close your right eye, hold your finger about an arm's length away, and slowly move it to the left while staring straight ahead. At some point, your finger will vanish, not because it moved too fast, or because the lighting changed, but because you have found your blind spot, a region where your optic nerve connects to your retina, creating a void as wide as 9 full moons. Here is the astonishing part. You never notice this enormous hole. Your brain does not leave it empty. It doesn't fill it with darkness. Instead, it actively fabricates what should be there. If you're looking at a blue wall, your brain paints blue into the void. If a pattern exists, it continues it seamlessly across the gap. This is perceptual filling in, a subtle miracle of design. And it's not a guess, nor an approximation. Your brain literally manufactures reality in that space, generating visual information that was never received by your eyes and convinces you so completely that you never suspect the illusion. The editing doesn't stop there. Every few seconds, your eyes make rapid movements called saccades. During these lightning-fast jumps, your brain performs something extraordinary. It actively deletes incoming visual information, momentarily blinding you to the blur that would otherwise overwhelm your senses. You are functionally blind dozens of times each minute, yet you never perceive it. Your brain stitches together a seamless, stable world from these disjointed snapshots, concealing its own artistry so perfectly that your experience of continuous vision feels effortless. Think about what this reveals. Your brain is not merely recording what exists outside, it is editing the feed in real time, making executive choices about what you are allowed to experience. It deletes information, creates information, and smooths over gaps so flawlessly that you remain completely unaware of its work. Philosopher Daniel Dennett recognized the profound consequence of these physiological facts. If your brain is actively constructing your visual experience, filling in gaps and making editorial decisions, then what you call seeing is not truly seeing at all, but a divine collaboration between your mind and the grand design of the cosmos. It's something closer to controlled dreaming while awake. But if your brain is editing your most fundamental sense, the one you trust above all others, what else might it be shaping? What other dimensions of your reality are being actively constructed, filtered, and presented to you as if they were simply existing independently, waiting to be discovered? The blind spot isn't merely an anatomical quirk. It is a window into the hidden truth about perception itself, a glimpse of the divine intelligence woven into the very fabric of your awareness. Your experience is not a passive recording of the world. It is an act of creation, a real-time construction project happening within your skull, guided by a subtle cosmic order. And this is only the beginning. Everything you've been told about how your brain works is backwards. For centuries, the brain was thought of as a sophisticated camera, passively receiving signals from the world and assembling them into your conscious experience. Light enters your eyes, sound waves enter your ears, and somewhere inside your skull, these signals were believed to be processed into the movie of reality you are witnessing right now. But this is a misconception. Your brain does not wait for the world to reveal itself. Instead, it constantly generates predictions, detailed, moment-by-moment hypotheses about what should exist in your experience. Before light even reaches your retina, your brain has already formed a working expectation of what you are likely seeing. Before sound reaches your ears, it predicts what you are likely to hear. This revolutionary framework, known to neuroscientists as predictive processing, transforms everything we thought we understood about perception. Imagine walking through a forest at dusk. The sensory information arriving in your brain is sparse and noisy: shadows, rustling leaves, glimpses of movement at the edge of vision. A camera would struggle to make sense of this chaotic data. But your brain doesn't struggle because it is not starting from scratch. It is already running a detailed simulation of what a forest at dusk should contain. Trees swaying in the wind, small animals moving through the underbrush, the interplay of fading light through the leaves. Your senses do not build this experience. They merely correct and refine a prediction already running. This is why you can recognize a friend's voice in a crowded restaurant, even when you hear only fragments. Your brain predicted the sound and used just enough auditory input to confirm the guess. It's why you can navigate your bedroom in complete darkness. Your brain runs a precise spatial model of where everything should be, using tiny scraps of sensory feedback to verify its predictions. Neuroscientist Carl Friston, one of the architects of this theory, describes the brain as fundamentally a prediction machine. But perhaps the most elegant description comes from neuroscientist Anil Seth, who calls your entire perceptual experience a controlled hallucination. Reflect on that phrase. A hallucination is when your brain generates experiences that do not match external reality. But Seth suggests something far more profound. All perception is hallucination. The only distinction is that ordinary perception is a hallucination guided and corrected by sensory input. You are not experiencing the world directly. You are experiencing your brain's best approximation, refined by just enough sensory information to align the hallucination with reality. This explains what we discovered in the previous section. Your blind spot is filled in, because your brain predicted what should occupy it. Your vision remains stable during eye movements because your brain predicted a stable world, ignoring contradictory information from your shifting gaze. But here is where the insight becomes deeply profound. If your entire perceptual experience is a controlled hallucination generated by predictions, then the boundary between inner and outer dissolves. What you consider the external world, the room you occupy, the sound surrounding you, even your own body, these are not separate from your consciousness. They are your consciousness actively creating, moment by moment, through the most sophisticated reality generation system known to science and inspired by the infinite intelligence that governs existence. Your brain is not merely showing you the world. It is creating a world for you to inhabit. And once you grasp this, you begin to realize that the architect of your universe has been subtly present all along. It is you, or rather, the vast unconscious intelligence you call you, painting reality from the inside out using brushstrokes you never knew existed. Yet, this insight raises an important question. If your reality is being actively constructed by predictions, what occurs when those predictions are influenced by forces you are unaware of? Your heart is beating right now. Your stomach is digesting. Your lungs are expanding and contracting. And your brain listens to every whisper from your body, using these internal signals as ingredients in the reality it creates for you. This hidden sense is called interoception, your brain's awareness of your body's internal state. Neuroscience is revealing that these signals are not mere background noise. They're primary data that your predictive brain uses to paint the world you perceive. Consider the last time you felt deeply anxious. Did the world appear different? Did a neutral comment from a friend suddenly seem laden with judgment? Did shadows feel more threatening? That was not imagination tricking you. That was your brain using the internal data of anxiety, racing heart, tense muscles, stress hormones, as information about the world itself, subtly orchestrated by the divine intelligence underlying all creation. When your nervous system is activated, your predictive brain doesn't simply think, "I'm anxious in a neutral world." Instead, it concludes, "This must be a dangerous world requiring vigilance," and it constructs your perceptual experience accordingly. Potential threats are highlighted, ambiguous social cues amplified, and the environment literally feels more hostile. Neuroscientist Lisa Feldman Barrett calls this effective realism, the profound insight that emotions are not reactions to the world, but active ingredients in how your brain constructs the world you experience. When you are sad, colors genuinely appear less saturated. This is not metaphorical. Your predictive brain, interpreting the low energy and chemical signals of sadness, predicts a world with reduced vibrancy and constructs your visual experience accordingly. When you are exhausted, that hill truly seems steeper. Your brain, sensing depleted energy reserves, adjusts spatial predictions to reflect the extra effort required by your current bodily state. When you are in love, that person's face actually appears more beautiful to you than to anyone else. Flooded with bonding hormones and positive predictions, your brain constructs a version of their features that aligns with your internal emotional landscape. This is not bias creeping into an otherwise objective system. This is how the system works. Your feelings are as much data about the world as light waves or sound waves. Your brain treats them equally when building your moment-to-moment experience. Barrett's research reveals something extraordinary. There is no neutral observation. Every perception is colored by the internal state of the perceiver. The hungry person experiences food differently from the sated person. The lonely person experiences social interactions differently from the connected person. The confident person experiences challenges differently from the fearful one. This explains why two people can witness the exact same event and perceive entirely different realities. They were not experiencing the same world through differing perspectives. They were experiencing different worlds, each constructed by brains operating with unique internal data. Your reality is not merely influenced by your emotions and bodily states. It is partially created by them. The boundary between inner and outer dissolves when you recognize that your feelings are as much part of the construction process as photons hitting your retina. But this raises a profound question. If your internal states actively shape the reality you perceive, and this process is largely unconscious, how much of what you call the objective world is actually a reflection of patterns and predictions you have never examined? What if the very structure of reality as you know it has been shaped by forces far more fundamental than your moment-to-moment emotions? If your brain constructs reality from predictions influenced by internal states, one question becomes unavoidable. Why would evolution design us this way? Why wouldn't we simply see the world as it truly is? The answer challenges everything you thought about reality itself. Cognitive scientist Donald Hoffman has spent decades studying this, and his conclusion is as elegant as it is unsettling. Evolution shaped our brains to hide objective reality because seeing the truth would endanger survival. Consider your computer desktop. You see colorful icons, folders, a trash can. You click these to access your files. But here is what you don't see: the millions of lines of code, the voltage patterns, the magnetic states that truly constitute your computer. The desktop interface intentionally conceals this complexity. If you had to manipulate raw code every time, you would never accomplish anything. The colorful icons bear no resemblance to underlying reality, yet they are infinitely more useful for survival in the digital world. Hoffman argues that perception functions in exactly the same way. Space, time, objects, and colors are evolutionary desktop icons, useful fictions that allow us to navigate reality without being paralyzed by its true complexity. Physics shows objective reality in its raw form: quantum fields fluctuating in probability clouds, particles existing in multiple states simultaneously, space-time curving and warping, energy and matter interchangeable as aspects of a mathematical structure. An organism perceiving reality this way would be paralyzed by infinite complexity. But an organism that sees simplified icons, solid objects moving through empty space over linear time, can act decisively and survive. Your predictive brain, quantum aligned with the laws woven by a higher intelligence, constructs the simplified, actionable world you inhabit, hiding the overwhelming complexity of existence while allowing you to thrive in the universe. It can run from predators, find food, and reproduce. This is not speculation. It is the inevitable mathematical outcome. When you properly account for the cost of processing infinite information versus the benefits of acting on simplified survival-relevant cues, we are the descendants of countless generations of interface users. Every ancestor who survived long enough to reproduce was an ancestor who saw useful fictions rather than overwhelming truth. We exist because our lineage specialized in constructing helpful hallucinations rather than perceiving accurate reality. The space you occupy does not truly exist. The flow of time around you is a construction. The solid objects surrounding you are as fictional as the desktop icons on your screen. Even your sense of being a separate self located inside a body is just another interface element, useful for survival, yet utterly divorced from the underlying nature of what you actually are. This is perhaps the most profound paradigm shift in human history. We are not observers of an objective world. We are active participants in a collective hallucination, evolved over millions of years to be so convincing that we mistake it for reality itself. You have never truly seen the world. You have only ever seen your mind's version of it. But if this is true, if all experience is merely an interface hiding an unknowable reality, then what are you? And what is the nature of the canvas upon which your consciousness paints this elaborate illusion? If everything you have ever experienced is just an interface, you might feel disconnected, lost, cut off from the truth of existence itself. But what if this feeling is just another prediction your brain is making? And what if that prediction is wrong? You are not a passive victim of an elaborate deception. You are not a prisoner trapped behind a veil of perception, forever separated from the real world. You are something far more extraordinary. You are a conscious agent actively collaborating with the universe in the ongoing creation of experience itself. Every moment, your awareness engages in the most intimate dance imaginable with whatever fundamental reality lies beyond the interface. Your consciousness does not simply observe a pre-existing world or passively receive a predetermined hallucination. It participates. It chooses. It creates. When you shift your attention, you are not merely noticing a fixed reality differently. You are participating in the moment-by-moment construction of what becomes real for you. When you alter your internal state, through breath, through movement, through the quality of your thoughts, you are not just changing your mood. You are reshaping the very fabric of the world you inhabit. This is not philosophy. This is not wishful thinking. This is the profound implication of everything we have explored together. If perception is construction and consciousness is the constructor, then awareness itself is the most creative force you will ever encounter. The question is not whether you are connected to ultimate reality. The question is, what is the nature of the mysterious canvas upon which your consciousness paints? What is the fundamental substrate that responds to the brushstrokes of your attention, your intention, your very being? This is the edge of the known, where neuroscience dissolves into mystery and mystery opens into wonder. Your mind creates your reality. But what creates your mind? Your consciousness constructs your world. But what is consciousness itself? You came here thinking you might discover something about perception. Instead, you have encountered the deepest question of all. Were you really, when everything you thought you were turns out to be an interface hiding something unimaginably more profound? These are the territories we explore together. The questions that live at the intersection of science and mystery, knowledge and wonder. Beyond this, reality is just beginning.